Hello, everyone. I'm really happy to be here to be able to talk to you guys about a few things. And I'm going to let just a few people join since we've just started at 2 o'clock. And really excited to kind of see how this is going to work. As you guys have seen, I'm planning on doing lives 2 o'clock Eastern this entire week, just to give myself a chance to kind of interact with you guys a little bit, answer any questions that show up, and also to be able to share some more information on some of the concepts that I've been talking about. There's quite a bit, and just wanted to be able to do that and maybe share some of my journey and just chat, see what happens. So really glad to see that people are joining. So thank you guys for being here. So what I wanted to do, like I just mentioned, is just kind of make this an open space a little bit, and wanted to use today to talk a little bit about something that I'm super excited about, that's happening starting tonight, and that also is about a concept that's really, really near and dear to my heart. So I wanted to share that with you guys today. So what's happening is tonight on Clubhouse, I will be co-hosting a conversation there about self-love with my friend and coach and life transformer Scarlett, also known as Yelena in the dance community with me. Super excited to be doing this. So just a little bit of background for those who may or may not know. Clubhouse itself is a new social media app, and it is all auditory, and it's just conversations. People just join rooms and see what happens. It is unfortunately only available to Apple users, but if you have a Mac, maybe you can join us there. So, but enough about kind of the dynamics of it. What I wanted to share is the conversation that Scarlett and I are planning on having together is specifically around self-love. And on Mondays at 9:15 every week, we plan to have this conversation. So tonight it's going to be kind of an intro. What is self-love? What isn't it? Which I'm actually going to talk a little bit here today to give you guys just a flavor of what we're going to talk about. And then every week it'll be something different. We'll talk about boundaries. We'll talk about self-care. We'll talk about many, many different things. And we'll just keep that space open. And super excited to see who joins us there. So, but it gives me a really good opportunity to share about a couple concepts that honestly are probably at the core of my own transformation. And my own transformation is what has led me to be able to share and write a book and do things that I never thought were possible, because I would have held myself back in the past. I would have told myself, no, I'm not a writer, or I don't have anything to say, or, we can all think about the various doubts we all have about ourselves. And so getting to the point of understanding the importance of self-love has really been a core piece of what's happening. So, so I'm glad to see people have joined. Jessica, welcome. I know Corinne is on as well. Welcome. So those of you who are on live, thank you for joining. And maybe just drop a quick little hi so I can see you and say hi. And if you're watching this later as a replay, then also make sure you type in the comments replay so I know you were here as well. So hey Jessica, so glad to see you. So what I was talking about the self-love piece is that it really allowed me to get comfortable with who I am in all aspects. Both my the things that I'm proud of, the things that I've done, the who I am, my strengths, as well as the things that maybe I'm not as proud of, and being able to accept and love all parts of that. So welcome another Jessica. So 2 Jessicas on right now. What I think is important here is, before I get into a conversation about self-love, is I want to talk a little bit about what I first thought it was and why I didn't think it was important for me. When I first heard the concept, welcome Burton, and Corinne, thank you. When I first heard the concept, I kind of felt like it was more of being selfish, being self-centered, And that felt wrong to me. I didn't believe that was correct. I grew up knowing that, being humble is important, and thinking of others and things like that. So self-love felt self-serving. But what I started to understand is that self-love is actually mimicking and reflecting the love that exists in the world already for us. So we have many, many people in our lives that we are blessed that love us, or maybe a few, but whatever that is, we still have people. So they love us. You might believe in a divine, you might believe in the universe, love, God, Jehovah, Allah, whatever you want to say. There is a love that comes from the Creator to us. And what happens is when we don't love ourselves, we're not allowing the love that others have for us, that the universe has for us, that all of these things have for us, to really permeate ourselves. And so we end up doing what I used to do, which is I would notice someone would compliment me and I would immediately feel uncomfortable and say, oh, no, 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 no. And yet, if you've ever complimented someone and they didn't receive it fully, it feels like you handed them a gift and then they just kind of put it down for some reason. So being able to accept the love that others have for us and then mirroring and mimicking that love for ourselves is just, it's completing a cycle. It's bringing that kind of energetic cycle all the way together, and it's just so important. So I want to share just a little bit about two concepts. One is how I got to a place of self-love, what I do, and what I am in that space, and then also a little bit about what I'm loving. So I want to start with the what I'm loving part. So, and it's about a concept as well that I'll go into more depth later in the week. But it has to do with the soul, or what I'm calling the noble self. So this is the higher self of us. The part of me that I'm loving is that piece of me. That's the piece that's connected to something greater than myself. That's the piece that we all connect to, maybe in moments where we just feel fully alive. Maybe when we're, we've just noticed a beautiful view, a sunset, or beautiful architecture, or a piece of artistry, or we're sitting with our family and we just feel completely content, or we're writing something and we just feel in the zone, or we're running. It's the place, people call it the zone. And I've come to believe that that's kind of the area where we just feel fully ourselves, and we're not worried about the past, we're not worried about the future. And in that space is where our higher self lives. And our higher self, like I mentioned, is the part of us that's connected to the divine, and the part of us that has an inner knowingness that if we can tap into will really help us to understand how to make decisions, or how to move forward, or how do I know if this person is a good person to have in my life, or should I choose this job, or do I do this next thing? We have a knowingness that actually helps us make those decisions. When we get into indecision, it's because we then have our lower self, or our shadow self, I call it, or ego. There's a conversation between the two, and we haven't decided who's in charge of that conversation. What I found is that the more I loved myself, my higher self, that part that's in the zone, the more that she, or they, I actually believe that soul has no gender, so that the more that they were able to be more present. And my doubts from my lower self got just a little more quiet over time, and then more quiet, and then more quiet, to the point now where being able to publish a book didn't trigger as many doubts as I thought it would. I originally thought that at some point I would just not be able to press the button, not be able to make the book happen, and it hasn't happened, because now I'm fully following my higher self, my noble self. So some of the ways that I've been able to do that has been to, like I said, tap into what makes her happy, what makes my noble self happy. So I mentioned a couple of them, right? So for me, seeing a beautiful view or a sunset. So being around nature, being around beautiful things, making sure that I'm trying to do that in my daily life. For me, dance is huge and really makes me feel grounded and in my higher self. So I try to make sure that I have access to music and dancing as that brings out this part of me. For me, there's certain smells. Smell of lemon, for whatever reason, makes me super happy, and I make sure I do that. Now it's really interesting because I'm noting a bunch of kind of small things, maybe we could say, right? But they're so huge, and for the most part, we don't pause and know, I love the smell of lemon, so I'm gonna smell lemon. I'm gonna use lemon essential oils that makes me happy, right? I'm gonna make sure that I'm going in nature, not because I'm gonna work out or exercise or hike, but just because I just wanna go there, right? I'm gonna dance just because I want to, and in COVID, right, it's gonna be by myself, and that's totally fine. So it's really finding the things that light us up. And one of the things that I learned from Scarlett, who, like I mentioned before, I'll be doing the Clubhouse conversations with, later today and every Monday at 9:15. One of the things she really helped me understand when I was working with her as a coach and in her courses was one of the ways you learn how to love yourself is to tap into the things that make you happy from a sensory perspective. So what are the things you love to smell? What are the things you love to see? What are the things you love to touch? What are the things you love to taste? I'm probably missing a sense, but you get the idea. So what are those things? And just incorporate them into your daily life in a way where you do it and you go, oh, I love this. And your higher self says, yes, and I feel loved by taking time for this. It's a very small thing, and it's not all self-love is related to. Some of it also is choosing boundaries and a whole bunch of other conversations that I'll be talking about a little bit later this week. But just from an adoration perspective for self-love, it's giving ourselves all the things that make us just super happy, and not in a way, we would all probably know that there are certain things that make us happy. For instance, for me, dance and lemon and nature or whatever, that makes me happy that isn't also unhealthy. So for instance, I might really enjoy binge watching Netflix, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I know that that's not feeding myself, and it's not me showing myself love, but it is helpful for resting, possibly, right? But it's really finding those things. One of the things you could consider it is, if you were dating yourself, right? If you were bringing yourself on the most romantic date ever, what were the things you would want to make sure are there, right? Chocolate, are going to be one thing. Would you like that date to be, in nature or in the city? Okay, that tells you what your higher self loves. Doing those things, finding out what those things are, and then just trying to do them every day. It sounds simple, small, trite, but it really is life-changing in a small way, in a way that allows you to, when you do it, to go, I love me. Now, one of the things, and I'll just share with this, is that you may find it uncomfortable at first to say, I love me. And that's okay. But the more you say it, the more natural it will become, and the more you'll believe it, and the more you'll feed yourself that way. So I'll just leave, there's many more things I could say about that, but really just knowing that these are first steps. And so what I'd like to do, those are the two things that I wanted to talk about. I know I've got a few people who are on and wonder, well, first of all, Corinne, I want to thank you for putting a link to the book. This Facebook group, as you guys know, is all about the book, and then also about the community we're building around the book and the conversations we want to have and things I want to share. And so thank you for putting the link in there. Right before this live, I actually got a notification from a friend. I sent these in the post on Saturday morning, and a friend has already received their book. So it sounds like these are getting to you guys super fast. So I'm super, super excited about that. And really excited to have you guys read it and add to the conversation. Another thing I want to share too is that what I'm sharing here is my journey, my understanding, and I'm completely open to hearing different ways of thinking about it and helping me expand my understanding. So there's, I don't have the corner on this conversation. I can just tell you that what I'm sharing in the book and what I want to share in this Facebook group on conversations And in the future, in courses and other things, which I'll mention more about later in this week, is really what I understand now, and I'm hoping over time that it will improve as well. So for those who are on the call or on this this Facebook Live with me, I open this up anytime to anyone who might have any questions or might have a concept you want to hear a little bit more about. Also, for those who might join us later for the replay, as I mentioned before, please do note replay and then list anything that you'd like to hear me talk about. Verbally, you can kind of hear me, maybe join me or catch the replay in the future. So, looking forward to having this discussion, this conversation. Truly appreciate it. I'm going to sign off for now, but I really look forward to seeing what questions pop up for people and what conversation we want to have this week. As I mentioned before, I do plan to have these Facebook Lives every day this week. So today's Monday, April 26th. I plan to have this every day this week at 2 p.m. Eastern. So join me anytime you can or catch the replays. We'll see in the future if I do this, on a regular basis or whatever, but that's what I'm doing this week. So look forward to having you there. And then Burton, you just asked a great question. Yep, and Corinne has just answered it in terms of, he was asking if there is an audio version of the book. There will be. I am working to learn the technology to figure out how to record it and how to put it on Audible. And also, since the question has been raised as well, sometime in the medium future. Thank you, Jessica. Jessica just said it would be so soothing if to hear me read it, and that's my plan. Yep, I definitely plan to do that. So thank you for that compliment. I appreciate it. I do plan on having an ebook as well. Obviously, an ebook is not going to be written or not going to be read by me, but sometime in the future we'll have that as well. So we'll have a print book, an audio book, and an ebook available. And Shada, welcome. Glad to have you here. So great questions that people are asking. And so, like I said, do drop any questions that you've got in here, either in the live here or in the replay. I think we'll close for now for today. However, in 2 o'clock Eastern, every day this week, come and join me again. So glad to have everyone. Thank you so much for your support and your love and this great community we're building together, and look forward to talking again soon. Take care, guys. Bye.